you would have told me at the top of the year that this would be one of the things that I would get to do, I'd be like, yeah, right. Like, not even you're right. I didn't believe it. Just, it was not on my radar. I feel like God was telling me, you can't put this nonprofit behind the scenes. It's time to start bringing it to the forefront. But now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I can see how I can work both of them in parallel and still see progress and momentum, because I'm all about movement. And is where you are now where you had planned to be, or did you leave space and room to be open for the unexpected? Okay, so if you were to say that at the beginning of the year on my bingo card, I would have been on Good Morning Washington and I would have interviewed over 23 women on the She Built Success podcast, I'd have like, yeah, right. Let me just explain what just happened. So at the, end of February, I was reached out to by a local news anchor, and they saw my profile on IG, and I actually had provided her with another small business's information for a segment that they were looking for, and thought the small business would be a good fit. I went on my way. That was it. Kind of, not thinking anything of it. The following week, she DM'd me and she was like, hey, I see you're the founder of Black Girls Fly. She's like, it'll be really dope if we can get you on to the show. This was on a Monday. She was like, can you come in on Wednesday? And I was like, bet. And so I went on Good Morning Washington to talk about Black Girls Fly and what the nonprofit is and what it means, and how we help Black women and young girls get into aviation, right? And that was so fun. It was like a 5-minute segment. I'll link the segment probably down below in the video. But the segment was 5 minutes, but it was just so much fun. So I went to the news station. I had one of the interns with me, one of my daughters, and it was a really good experience. It was really cool. I was able to talk about Black Girls Fly. I was able to interact with, I've made some new friends in the green room. That was kind of dope. And then also on the floor when I was with the other news anchors and we were talking about this segment. So anyway, so that was the first thing that happened. Didn't plan it, but it did happen. And it was a really cool experience. And then fast forward to like the end of that same week. And I was reached out to by the founder of Women Rock Wings to see if I can be a part of their second annual Sky Queen Luncheon. And in the capacity of doing interviews for the various guests and attendees that would come to the event. And so I was like, sure, yeah, why not? Let's go. I was super stoked. And so she allowed me to come in the capacity of both She Built Success and Black Girls Fly, which, I mean, I've talked about Black Girls Fly in prior seasons, especially in season 1, but I hadn't really talked about it much on the podcast up until just now again, right? And so she was like, yeah, both BGF, so Black Girls Fly, which is a nonprofit, and She Built Success, which clearly is the podcast, could come in the capacity. And so I would be interviewing these guests and attendees on, they have 2 pinks. They have a pink carpet instead of a red carpet. They have a pink carpet. So the guests and attendees come on, and then they have, the banner behind them that says Sky Queen Luncheon. And then after they come off the pink carpet, if they choose, they can come onto the pink couch. And so there was a pink couch there. And I would sit on one side, the guests would sit on the other. It's kind of like this couch here. It was a love seat. And I would just ask them kind of almost rapid fire questions about the Sky Queen Luncheon, what brings them here, what they're looking forward to. If they're in aviation, where within aviation are they? And it was so cool just to hear. One of the interviewees that I spoke to, attendees that I spoke to at this event, they said, I know this is an aviation event, and I'm not even, I didn't know there were so many opportunities and options when it comes to the field of aviation. So typically she was saying, when you get in there, you think pilot is typically it for aviation, but you found, there's mechanical engineers, and then there was the rocket scientists or aerospace engineers, and then jet brokers. And yes, jet brokers, that was a new one for me. And who else I speak to? Pilots, of course, and student pilots and flight attendants, and the First Lady of Baltimore. I did speak to Hannah as well. I mean, it was so just a really, really well-attended event. And if you would have told me at the top of the year that this would be one of the things that I would get to do, I'd be like, yeah, right. Like, not even you're right. I didn't believe it. Just, it was not on my radar. And so it was just really fun to have the conversations, and they were brief. So they were like 2 to 5 minutes each, roughly, depending on just how many people were trying to get on the pink couch, and how I could execute accordingly. It was really fun, and I enjoyed it. The event was beautifully put on and executed. We were able to come in and set up as media. I had my other daughter with me at that point, so then intern number 2 had her with me, and she was helping. I said she was like security for the cameras. So of course I had my equipment and the lighting and whatnot, and so she was behind the main camera. And basically I told her, I was like, dude, if you weren't behind that camera, like behind it, not working it, but just, monitoring, making sure things are still in frames, things still look good. I was like, dude, if you were not behind that camera, it might have fallen or somebody might have bumped it or something like that. So I told her she was like security, security for the camera. But no, but in all seriousness, it was a really well-attended event. And I'm looking forward to doing this similar pink couch interviews when they host in Atlanta next year. So March of next year. So I'm very excited just to continue to do that. It's actually just cool to hear different people's stories, how they got into aviation, why they got into aviation, where they are in aviation, or how they're trying to get into aviation. It's not, I would also say it's not all just aviation or aviators. There's enthusiasts there as well. So not everybody is necessarily your typical thinking of a flight attendant or a pilot. Like I said, there's a vast array of different types of fields within aviation. And even for me, I'm still learning. I don't know them all. But yeah, so I'm just saying that it's kind of my hot take. I didn't have anything like real notes to sit here and give the rundown on. But I guess for me, the takeaway is be open and be ready to be led in a good way, especially when, you have your own plans. I had my own plans for the top of 2026, and it led into just what has turned out to be very aviation heavy, but just really cool opportunities. The opportunity to be able to flex a new skill and go do on-site interviews, which is so dope. Like, of course, we have guests here on the podcast. We have those real conversations, but like rapid fire, like I was like, let's go. There was no intimidation. It was like super exciting. So being open to just new opportunities and experiences, especially when it's in alignment with the direction that you're trying to go. But all that to say, I feel like God was telling me, you can't put this nonprofit behind the scenes. It's time to start bringing it to the forefront. And I admittedly, and I've said this on prior episodes as well for the podcast, is I have been pausing on the movement with the nonprofit, but now I'm definitely more in the space of picking it back up. And it's just because on the business front, I wanted the business side to continue to grow and refocus that as well. So it was hard to do both and. But now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I can see how I can work both of them in parallel and still see progress and momentum, because I'm all about movement and making sure that what I'm trying to accomplish is not only in alignment with where God wants me to go, but also, of course, have fun doing it along the way. So yeah, I think that for me, this just so far, the things that I have come across in terms of opportunities, even new, I'll say blossoming friendships in all of this, both from the event that I did with the local news channel, along with the aviation event. I mean, it's just been like to get to meet people I know. And it's like when you meet someone, at least for me, I won't say for everybody, but for me, when I meet somebody, I get excited just to learn like a little bit more about them. And I get excited about a lot of stuff. I'm excited about life, but I get excited to learn about the person and what makes them tick and how or what their interests are. And I'm not looking necessarily for everything to be same, like my same interest is your same interest. Like that'd be weird. But I am looking for like synergy and commonalities and common ground and things that we can share or talk about or learn from each other. And so coming up, or I guess now at the time of this recording, we're coming towards the end of Q1, about to start Q2. I just think that these new relationships and friendships are a part of what's going to continue into the year as the year continues to unfold. And I'm open and ready to like really learn from these people. It's not just a one thing. Like I met a couple of flight attendants actually that are training to be pilots, and we were commiserating over ground school because I think I said this in this recording, but if not, I'm a student pilot and I have not flown in a minute because, life is life, and I have 2 girls and we have family activities and things that we have to do. And so, you pick where you want to spend your time. And I decided to pause on the flying, but we were commiserating on ground school, all that to say. And I was like, yeah, dude, I got to take my written. And she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I was like, me too. I said, she says, I try to stay focused. And I'm like, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to stay focused too. But you start bringing out the calculator and you have to start calculating weight and balance and stuff. And I'd be like, it's like little things like that, I think help to, like I said, there's commonality there, but at the same time, there's just a new relationship that's being formed. And so, yeah, all that to say, just be open to those opportunities and sometimes the unexpected things, because it can lead to bigger things. Now, I don't know where this is going to lead me to. Who knows? I might be at conferences and events coming soon to, in your space doing these quick interviews, but I think it's pretty dope. I think it's pretty cool. I do look forward to what's to continue to grow within Black Girls Fly, as well as my consultancy. So, yeah, be open to those opportunities is what I would say. And until next time, Bold Move Besties, your homework is to reflect on whatever point in time you're watching this or listening to this. Reflect on where you are now, and is where you are now where you had planned to be, or did you leave space and room to be open for the unexpected? Until next time, I'll catch you on the next episode. Wish you both success. Bye.